Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Happy Thursday, one and all. It is March the 3rd, 2022. I never thought I would be able to say that, but it's March the 3rd, 2022. I fell asleep one day back in 1999 and I woke up. It was 2022. And we were in the midst of what we're in the middle of. So, anyway, I'm glad you are all here. Let me see who I need to say hello to. By the way, sorry for the late start. I was playing my opening, and anyway, I know what I need to do about the start. I saw the instructions for that, but they have like a one button start instead of the two button process. And so I just really need to switch over to the other one because it makes life so much easier. And every time I try to open and it doesn't open, I realize why that was so important. So, good morning, Church Nellie, Lydia, all the other usual suspects. Gwendolyn Daniels, May Nadala, welcome. Anna Espinoza. Let's see, Francilia Mosley. What a beautiful name, Francilia. Francilia. Yeah, Francilia. I think that's better. Dale Howard, Pamela Porter, Carolyn Soares, welcome, welcome. Elaine Parker, all the way from the UK, right? And let's see, Ghislaine Monestein, okay. Patricia Nixon, hi. Anastasia Isabella, welcome, welcome. Um, let's see. I did get a message from you, Lydia, and I haven't opened it yet, but I know I received it, and I'll do that. But I had like a lot of stuff to work on for the video today. Also, let's okay. What did you guys think about the thumbnail for the video? What did you guys think about my thumbnail? I thought it was pretty cool. As a matter of fact, while I'm stalling, waiting for people to enter the chat, how don't I? Well, I need to bring up some slides for today. That would help. Okay, let me see. That always seems to take time is to bring up the slides. But yeah, what did you guys think of the thumbnail? Did you guys like it? I thought it was just like, I would have to, it was good, Joan Commonwealth, and thank you. Great job, says Gwendolyn Daniels. I thought it was like one of the best I've made so far, if I do say so myself. I love it. I'm just like, look at what I did. I thought it was, as they say, artsy fartsy. I thought it was kind of artsy fartsy. But yeah. So yeah, and I have to tell you, I don't use any software for the thumbnails. It's just a lot of cutting and pasting and layering. And when someone in the squad asked me one day about the thumbnail, they said, "What program do you use?" I said, "Program." They got programs for that. How come nobody told me there was a program for it? But yeah, so I just kind of sorted it out myself. Okay, while I'm stalling, I'm bringing up slides because I was literally working on these up until the last minute. But they are so germane to the conversation, I don't think I could possibly work without them today. So, all right. Okay, so it's working out. So this is the thumbnail that I was speaking of. They were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband. Now, if you guys watched the Oprah interview, and if you haven't watched the Oprah interview, I don't know where on the planet you may have been, but that was the words of the Duchess of Sussex on the day of the famous Oprah Winfrey interview. And in case you guys have lost track of the calendar, it has almost been a year since the famous Oprah Winfrey interview. It's almost been a year. So I'm thinking we're going to hear a lot of talk about that in spite of the geopolitical situation. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about that in the coming days. I mean, what better way to celebrate a platinum jubilee? What a better way to celebrate a platinum jubilee, or for some people, jubilee, than to, talk about the famous Oprah Winfrey interview. Um, let's see. Also, I want to say thank you to someone who sent me a PayPal just before we started on air. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, somebody sent a PayPal. Okay, yes. I won't say the name just in case you don't use your name on the podcast. But the first letter is D as in David, and the last letter is R as in roses or romance. So thank you, DR, for the very generous PayPal that I received just before airtime. And okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to look at your comments because Heaven said, let me see. Okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay, let me see. All right. Oh, thank goodness. I almost thought I had put you in the timeout by mistake. With the war in Ukraine, the royal family will still go on with their tours and jubilees. I'm just kidding, Jubilee. I can't stop saying jubilee now. And also, thank you so much, Lorna Castellanos, for the very pleasant super sticker. Thank you, and happy Thursday to you. And as usual, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you for the super sticker. So, okay, one more comment, and then I'll go to the next slide. What's with the bullying investigation of Duchess Meghan? The British cult will not be able to sweep that under the rug. Well, we're going to touch base with that actually. That was the whole point of today's Royal Sussex, is so that we could discuss that. Okay. Royal engagements is to distract from the conversation about that interview and the bullying investigation that hasn't happened. Robin Rogers, um, you're absolutely right. The investigation seems to have stalled. For all intent and purposes, there doesn't seem to be an investigation. And even if there were an investigation, there's not much to investigate. The minute the Duchess of Sussex said, please give us names and give us the accounts so that we may look into this further, it seems like that was the end of the investigation. That seems to have stalled the investigation, especially when some of those who were potentially witnesses for this investigation suddenly said, hey, don't use my name, keep my name out of it. Once that happened, that sounded like some talk from the neighborhood I grew up in. Once they said, keep my name out your mouth, all of a sudden, the investigations were no more. So, right here, Buckingham Palace to investigate claims Meghan bullied staff. Remember that? Of course you remember that. Everybody and their mama know about that one. Um, this came out just 3-4 days before the Oprah Winfrey interview. Can you believe that so much has happened in the year since that interview took place? One of the things that happened is I actually got serious about working on the Royal Sussex channel, which this may surprise you. Does anybody know the original name of this channel? Anybody? Think about that for a minute while I do some work here. But think about that for a minute. Does anybody remember the original name for this channel? And here's a clue. It was a mouthful. The channel, actually, the name was longer than the channel. That's how big the name was. The name was huge. I mean, just huge. Gosh, okay, I better not say it like that again. Okay, so what inspired me was I saw this article yesterday, and it was dated, as you can see, March 3rd, 2021. Well, a lot of things have happened since March 3rd, 2021. Like, for instance, Lily Diana has happened since March 3rd, 2021. Okay, so in the article it says it will speak to the okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, it said uh let me make sure. Those ads pop up. There you go. Buckingham Palace says it will be investigating claims the Duchess of Sussex bullied royal staff, adding that it was very concerned by the allegations. It follows a report in the Times newspaper that Meghan faced a bullying complaint when she was a working royal. Her spokesman said the Duchess was saddened by the latest attack on her character. The palace said it does not and will not tolerate bullying or harassment. It will speak to members of the staff involved to see if lessons can be learned, a statement added. According to the story in the Times, the complaint was made in October 2018 while the Duke and Duchess were living in Kensington Palace. A leaked email sent from staff member, which was published by the newspaper, alleges that, and by the way, a leaked memo. Don't forget, the calls are coming from inside the house. Just so that we're clear on that. Anytime you see leaked or something like that, just remember that the calls are coming from inside the house. Okay, so where was I? All right. The report claims she undermined the confidence of a third member of the staff. Yeah, a leaked email. Okay, that's where I was. A leaked email sent from the staff member, which was published by the newspaper, alleges that Meghan drove two personal assistants out of the household. The report claims she undermined the confidence of a third member of staff. In a statement, Buckingham Palace, which is responsible for the hiring of royal staff, said, "We are clearly very concerned about allegations in the Times following claims made by former staff of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. According to our HR team, we'll look into the circumstances outlined in the article. Members of staff involved at the time, including those who have left the household, and will be invited to participate to see if lessons can be learned." The royal household has had a dignity at work policy. A dignity at work policy in place for a number of years, and does not and will not tolerate bullying or harassment, or as we say in the US, harassment in the workplace. An earlier statement issued by Meghan's spokesperson said the Duchess is saddened by the latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself, and is deeply committed to supporting those who have experienced pain and trauma. She is determined to continue her work building compassion around the world, and will keep striving to set an example for doing what is right and doing what is good. Okay. So this story was written by Johnny Diamond. Johnny Diamond, who is a royal correspondent, as well as someone who seems to toe the line for the royal family. Johnny Diamond, of course, is no friend of the Sussexes. He tends to serve as a mouthpiece for the royal family. I've seen him on late night CBS television where he will glorify the Duchess of Cambridge. And of course, he will throw out a lot of questions about the character of the Duchess of Sussex and allegations about the Duchess of Sussex. And then as soon as he's done with that, then they'll show Kate interacting with children and planting flowers and, doing her very best cosplay of Mary Poppins. So all of these things are quite contrived. They're peppered with talking points, and they tend to favor the Duchess of Cambridge. And at every turn, they've ever so politely and consistently diminished the character of the Duchess of Sussex. I mean, we've seen that all too often. And there's a lot of images that I considered introducing to the conversation, but I'd rather not ruin your day because they can trigger at times. So um, it's probably best to avoid that. Okay, so with all of that, I'm going to take a glance at the comments and then I'll continue. So they waited 2 years and 7 months to not investigate, plus another year of non-investigation. Um, well, that appears to be the situation, yeah. Okay. There are a few policemen who are willing to give evidence that, I don't even want to say his name, was rude and abusive. He's notorious for rude and abusive. Notorious. As a matter of fact, you could not even have a conversation about that family. Oh, you know what? Let me take that back because you'd have to throw in Princess Margaret. She's another one who's notorious for making life miserable, not only for the staff, but other aristocrats and just about anybody else who she could take advantage of or humiliate. So there's plenty of that to go around. So yeah, I would not limit it to that person that you just mentioned. You'd have to go with quite a few people in that family, and probably the one that is who's the worst but has the least amount of power is Princess Michael of Kent. She's another one who is, I guess, far more grand than her bank account should allow. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to move on. All right. One person named in Meghan court case, a lady that Queen sent to work with Meghan and Harry. I forgot the lady's name. Well, I think I may have that lady already queued up in the conversation, and I will find that person right now. I think you're referring to Samantha the Panther. Is this the one that you're speaking of, Rosa Roberts? The lady who was a close aide to the Queen, who seemed to be a bit of a guard dog or henchman or watchman, whatever you want to call it, allegedly, in order to make sure that the Duchess of Sussex, well, actually, I don't even want to speculate why she was there, but I suspect that's, yeah, right. Yep, I already had her queued up. All right, so let's go back over here. I'm gonna have as a matter of fact, let's all do this. Let's have a sip of tea, shall we? Because we're gonna pour a little tea today, and as such, we ought to have a little sip of tea. Okay, refreshed and ready to go. Okay, next point. There you have it. So there's the garden photo of the Sussexes right there in the undisclosed location during the Oprah Winfrey interview. Again, it's hard to believe that a year has already come and gone, but it has. And we survived it. And of course, the Sussexes are thriving. They're not just surviving, they are thriving. That is the outcome that is desired. And that's exactly what's happening. So I don't think it could have gone any other way because the Sussexes are the dynamic duo. So in the small print there it says Archwell, British royal family. Okay, those are all the hashtags. Beneath it, it says Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex interview with Oprah Winfrey is the most searched interview in Google Trends history. Did you all get that? The most searched interview, not the most searched. The most searched interview in Google Trend history. So that is how monumental those moments with Oprah Winfrey has become. Absolutely monumental. Now, as I tend to keep receipts, if you look on your right side, you can see ready, Omid Scobie, Omid Scobie's preparation for the Oprah Winfrey interview, which is a lot of fun. You can see the popcorn. He's got the Twitter ready. There's tea. We all should have tea. All right. So there's the tea and the bronchial inhaler, just in case there's a bit of, you got to have the inhaler ready. Okay. So that was the atmosphere back on 3/7/21 or 7/3/21. You can see the date right there beneath the photos. People were all geeked up and ready for this interview because, in case you've forgotten, there was like a whole week, I guess. I mean, imagine the shock the first time you turned on the television and there was a preview for the Oprah Winfrey interview. I remember I was like, "Ooh, ooh." I didn't have any words. All I could say was, "Ooh, ooh." I became nonverbal when I found out that there was going to be an interview. I could not believe that there was going to be an Oprah Winfrey interview. At that point, we had not heard the Duchess of Sussex's voice in a long time. And I remember how surreal it felt to see her walk onto that patio and sit down and began the conversation, pouring tea about their experience in the royal family, and in particular, her experience with the family. That I still, I was yeah, I was much like this, like Omid Scobie. I had popcorn. I wasn't much on Twitter. Tea, probably had coffee, and then of course the inhaler at hand because it was just that monumental. So, Sash, you say they can't diminish HRH Meghan in any way. Reasonable people around the world are very aware of who those snakes and rodents are versus HRH Meghan really is. Amen to that. Sheila Watson, you say, I know Duchess Meghan was not a bully, but if they think she was and that she was bad, they haven't seen nothing yet. Oh. Now, the last time I mentioned Naomi Campbell, who has taken over the presidency of something with the Commonwealth, it was pointed out how humorous that was at the time that they would go and at first you have accused the Duchess of Sussex of being a bully. And then, for some reason, in order to maintain a woman of color in some type of service of the royal family or service of the Queen and the Commonwealth, in order to, I guess, for lack of a better word, for the sake of keeping up appearances, they decided that the best course of action was they decided that the best course of action was to go and get Naomi Campbell. Now, you could not make something like that up. You just could not make up something like that. But that is exactly what happened. They thought that Naomi throw an old school telephone at the assistant's head, Naomi Campbell, was the wisest choice to counter any accusations of bullying claims. You couldn't make something like that up. I mean, it wasn't just the telephone. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just the telephone. Anybody of a certain age, like myself, knows the weight and balance of the old Bell telephone. Amen. We all know how those phones are. And when you go to sling one of them phones, they tend to hang in midair for a while before they hit the target. And it is alleged, well, not alleged, I think she owed up to it, but she hurled a phone at her assistant. Now, one of the squatties got angry with me for bringing that up, citing the fact that I was feeding into this narrative of the angry black woman. However, let me say in my own defense, it was nothing that she hadn't fessed up to herself. I didn't have to make up anything. She said it was true. So why get mad at me? Because um, didn't she go to the did she go to jail for that? Or did she just cop out and go to rehab? Whatever it was, don't blame me for having a laugh about that because it was the height of hypocrisy, if not stupidity, that you would replace the Duchess of Sussex, who is not a bully, but you accused her of being a bully, and you replace her with someone who has, all but been listed in the book of life as a bully. You cannot make that up. And so when this squatty, I guess it was a squatty, attacked me for that. Who came bursting through the door, a Bible in one hand and some whiskey in another? Who came bursting through the door other than Church Nellie? Church Nellie gave her the what for. Church Nellie cited Church Nellie read Bible and verse to defend me. And I have to say, I was really moved. I was even slightly turned on by that. But I was really moved at the fact that Church Nellie was not taking any prisoners. But it wasn't like Church Nellie lied. It wasn't like she was being rude or anything like that. She just told the truth. She told it like it was. And the fact that they would, um, you know, tried to embarrass the Duchess of Sussex, like, oh, look, we found another one. That, of course, being a woman of color. They tried to embarrass the Duchess of Sussex by bringing in Naomi Campbell, like that was the best alternative possible. When the in reality, you were replacing someone who you could not prove was a bully and certainly is not, and replace them with someone who I'm sure if you all remember, and I believe Church Nellie reminded me of this, it was actually, and don't get me wrong, I love Naomi Campbell. I love her. I think she's an inspiration. It was alleged that Naomi Campbell, and I believe that was according to another black supermodel, she made her life a living hell. Okay? So don't attack me about Naomi Campbell's character when it's been confirmed by so many people around her. And I don't want to get sidetracked from the conversation discussing her, but her reputation precedes her. So thank you, Church Nellie. Um, you have done me a good turn. And Church Nellie has proved once and for all that Church Nellie is like a ride or die. Okay, Church Nellie is ride or die, and I'm Church Nellie. I promise you, and I want you to promise me, we will never hurl an old Bell telephone at each other's heads because we are never going to hurl an old Bell telephone at each other's head. I make the promise today because there's something about those old Bell telephones. when you throw them, they go shling. They make a shling sound before they, and when they hit the wall, guess what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens to the phone. Now the wall is probably in need of replacement. The phone, you could pick the phone up. You ain't got to shake it or slap it on the side or anything like that. The phone is undamaged. The wall is probably, beyond repair. But okay. Yes, I heard it was Tyra Banks. I heard it was Tyra Banks. Yeah. So it was like so bizarre that I was being crucified for making light of the fact that somebody picked up an old Bell telephone. And see, the thing is, Sharon, the thing is, Naomi Campbell, if she had any as a supermodel, it's like being an Avenger or a superhero. As a supermodel, you don't even know where the phone comes from. That's her power. I don't care what the situation, I don't care what she's wearing. All of a sudden, when somebody gets on her nerves, a magic Bell telephone appears in her right hand. And it's magic. That's her superpower. If she was a crime fighter, the way that she would take down the bad guy is to reach into her purse and pull out a Bell phone and hit them upside the head with it. She could just reach into her purse. I don't care what size the purse is. She gonna reach in her purse and pull out a Bell telephone and hurl it across the room. So you can't walk up on her. Like if somebody walks up on Naomi Campbell and say, "Give me all your money," Naomi is going to reach in her magic bag and pull out her Bell telephone and say, "What?" And then shaling, she gonna hurl that phone and hit them in the head with it. So don't tell me that I'm picking on her or using the angry black woman trope. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't mess with her. Would you? Because the minute something don't go her way, all of a sudden, Shalene, there's that magic Bell telephone. And not just one. If you try to like go after her, she'll just keep hurling them phones at you until you're unconscious. and, then, and then when you're in the emergency room, the doctor's going to say, "What happened?" "I don't know. I got this ringing in my ear." That's because somebody hurled a Bell telephone at you. They weigh about 10 pounds, but that's no match for her. I mean, no, it's like a feather in her hand, and she hurled that phone at you, you through. So, reach out and touch someone. Remember the commercial? Well, I think when they wrote that commercial, they were inspired by Naomi Campbell and her Magic Bell telephone because she'll take you down. So I'm just saying. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked, but my but yeah, like I said, I like Naomi. I have a lot of respect for her. I think she is very talented, and I like the way she is very sure of herself. She has a lot of confidence. She's a somewhat of a pioneer in the fashion industry, and all those things. But I would not cross her for fear of being cold cocked with a Bell telephone. Long distance, no problem. Oh, okay. So you guys, that was veering from the course a bit. And anyway, congratulations to Naomi Campbell. Now that she has a child and such, and she's still a righteous sister who was very honest about her circumstances. Let's not forget that when she was called out for certain things, that she was very honest about it. So Let's not forget that. Okay. All right. So enough of the Naomi Campbell and her magic bell telephone, which seems to appear out of midair or fly through. Okay, I got to make her disappear for now, and then we'll get back to the conversation. All right, so as a result of these bullying claims, the people on Twitter and such, there were cartoons, Oprah, Harry and Meghan tell all, and of course there was a parody created of the Queen. Um, it could have been worse. Uh, you see the other caption. I'm trying to avoid saying his name, but I'm sure the entire shock of it caused reverberations to go through the family. Like, for instance, I'm sure the Queen, as soon as the interview aired, she probably yelled, "Philip, Philip, did you see Philip?" Okay. And there we have it. And then someone even implied that she was going to get in touch with 007. And don't forget, you guys, I'm just trying to do a little refresh here. Days before the interview, if not a week or two before the interview, don't forget Harry was seen on the streets of LA filming a segment of the late night with what is his name? Corden? Yeah, with Corden show. So people were even implying that Oprah was angry because um Harry had actually gave the first interview. Well, it wasn't really the first interview. There's nothing in this world, James Corden, that's his name. There's nothing in the world that could make that the first interview. The interview with Oprah Winfrey, that was the interview, full stop. The interview, and that was highly coveted. You had a sit down with both of them. Sister, and I see you have let your imagination run free with this one. I've had fun with it too. So, let me see. Oh yeah, Fatima. I remember that they said that the Oprah Winfrey interview is what supposedly has done in Philip. Don't forget the Philip is let's see, it was said the Queen is 94 and Philip's in hospital. And then it turned into the Queen is 95 and Philip just died. Those were the way they weaponized the Queen's age. So let me do this. Yeah, okay, this is a perfect place to do this. So at this point, why don't we get to the genesis of the entire um, reason, or should I say, the biggest reason why the Sussexes were forced to flee Narnia. It started with this. This is why the Sussexes had to leave. Now, I want to say it goes back as early as 2017, while the Sussexes were still dating. All of these stories were coming out that proved to be embarrassing to the royal family, and in particular, embarrassing to William the Magnificent. Um, some of these are old covers, some of them are new covers, but they all say the same thing. They all imply the same thing. And so it is alleged that the Sussexes, well, not with the, I'll always say it like I'm saying sausages, but the Sussexes were used as a scapegoat, in particular, the Duchess of Sussex. She was used as a scapegoat in order to cover for this. See this article? That is from March 19th, 2017. And it was written by Robert Jobson. Robert Jobson at that time was incredibly and very critical of William. Disco or duty? The petulant prince must now choose, writes commentator Robert Jobson. Now, Robert Jobson was very responsible in his criticism of William. But of course, at that time, there was no Duke and Duchess of Sussex to um, set upon. And so when Robert Jobson made these allegations, it was still within that period where they were very critical of Kate and equally critical of William, sometimes more on one and more on the other. Harry, at this point, Harry had already had gone through his big transformation. I mean, let's face it, he had gone through his big transformation, and there was less criticism of him. Um, there wasn't as much of that revisionist history where people were looking for every little thing to remind you of, like, Las Vegas and so on and so forth. Harry was doing the job. He was very popular, reliable. More of the Harry that we see today, and a mere shadow or echo of the Harry that everybody worried about. The Harry that was heartbroken, suffering in silence, and so on. So, yeah, so this was when they actually went after William. And it was the weekend of well, I don't know if it was weekend, I forget which day of the week it was, but they were supposed to have the Commonwealth. And instead of going to the Commonwealth, as you can see, March, that's when they usually have the Commonwealth ceremony at the Westminster Abbey. um, William was going through a very early midlife crisis. Commonwealth Day 2017 didn't go off without a hitch. As a matter of fact, he didn't go at all. William decided to forego the Commonwealth Day, and instead he took his family skiing, right? But he didn't just take his family skiing. At some point, there was a divergence away from the family where he went night clubbing. Look at him whooping it up. He went night clubbing while the family stayed back at the chalet or chateau or whatever place they were at. But William was out there getting his boogie on. Yep. Look at him. You better come on, William. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. Go, William. Go, William. Go, William. It's your birthday. You're a bald head. Go, William. Go, William. So, oh boy. I mean, it looks like somebody's middle-aged father out there on the dance floor. You could even see the girl looking over her shoulder with that smirk on her face. But that was the William that we're not supposed to remember. And so over time, I decided to save a few of these um, receipts. The magazine covers. Some of them are old, some are new. You can tell this is a newer one because up in the top corner, you can see Bob Saget. But the allegations have been going on for quite some time. And so there was said to have been an invisible contract on the Oprah Winfrey interview, and in that contract, it implies, you know, this is what was implied, and this is what Meghan said in the Oprah interview. They were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband. Right? See how that works out? So it was cover up, cover up, cover up for William. But for Meghan, nobody cared that, she was newly married and eventually with child, and still they went on the attack day after day. And the more attacks there were upon the Duchess of Sussex, the fewer times anybody mentioned anything negative about the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. So, um, This goes back even before the wedding. Simon Rex was offered $70,000 to lie about Meghan Markle and their relationship. Well, the truth is, there was no relationship. They met while filming a movie. The Duchess of Sussex wanted to meet Simon for lunch and talk about the movie, talk about the day, talk about this, probably talk about yoga and healthy eating and so on and so forth. But there was no chemistry between them. He even said they didn't even kiss. He said, "We had lunch, we had a luncheon, but it was in a non datey kind of way." That was his word, non datey. And he said, "We didn't even kiss." And he said at the time, he did not want to accept any money because there was nothing to accept. There was nothing there. Now, he could have lied and he said he could have used the money. I mean, $70,000, but he did not want to hurt the royal family. Now, when he said that, he used the umbrella of everybody involved, including the Duchess of Sussex. But because of her sweet nature, her somewhat innocent demeanor, he did not see any avenue to disparage her because he did not want to cause problems for someone who had been so kind and so polite to him. This is the one who's supposed to be the gold digging bully. Hey, B10, I'm so glad you're with us. Baron, thanks for reminding us of the events back then. The firm turned to the Sussexes for division purposes and cover up for the embarrassing antics of William. Absolutely, B10. I mean, you can just draw that line from one dot to the other, and it ends up using the Sussexes as a scapegoat, and in particular, the Duchess of Sussex. Let's see. Lydia, you say now they act like William walks on water knowing he is trash. Amen to that. Hi, Connie Balmer. Horrible things were done to Meghan than we could ever know. The glares, etc. Horrible. Amen to that. Mascara, you say Willie has no scandal or controversy, which is a lie. Absolutely, Mascara. So yeah, when I was putting this together, I was just like, wow. So right there, you can see this is one. This may have been the absolute last message on Instagram. I don't recall, but I believe this may have been the last one. This moment is as true a testament there is to the human spirit. So they had their um, Instagram page, and I was inspired to use the blue background because of the Sussexes. As you can see, it didn't really work out the way I wanted. I mean, that's the Instagram blue, and then there's my blue. But yeah, so next, okay, and then one of the most bizarre looking creatures since the aardvark decided to weigh in on things. Now, mind you, I didn't have anything against Prince Elmer Fudd of Monaco. Nothing. I mean, he just wasn't on my radar. I didn't care about him. I don't know so much. Well, I'm just lying. I think I know too much about him, but I just didn't care about him. But he decided to open up his scandal-ridden mouth to weigh in on it. At the time, you all remember, everybody had an opinion about the Oprah Winfrey interview. Everybody had an opinion about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. One opinion after the other. And Elmer Fudd decided that he would interject and, I guess, somehow point out the error of their ways. That didn't go over so well. At least it didn't go over well with me. So I said to myself, Albert, Albert, what are you doing? And someone on the Twitter actually took him to task. As you can see, I covered up their name, but I said, Albert looks ever so familiar. What is it about him that reminds me of, oh, Elmer Fudd? Prince Albert of Monaco is Elmer Fudd. I mentioned this the other day, right? If we can unmask Batman, if we can unmask Spider Man, then darn it, we can unmask Elmer Fudd of Monaco. So I thought cartoon characters were nice and lovable and fun loving, but no, they're Albert of Monaco. Albert, Fat Albert of Monaco. So by him trying to disparage the Sussexes, he said something to the effect of they shouldn't air dirty laundry and they should have kept everything to themselves. That was what he essentially said. What he's what he's managed to do was to expose himself as um, be Elmer Fudd of Monaco. That's what he's managed to do. Oh, just like I just managed to cut that phone off. I thought I had done that. I do apologize. But yeah, so it was like opinions launched from every which direction against the Sussexes, and it was very frustrating because um I'm going to get that wascally wabbit. Be very quiet. I'm going to get that wascally wabbit. Be very quiet. I'm going to get that wascally wabbit. You just never see them in the same room together. See? You never see them together. Okay, I got that out my system. We can move on. uh yes, B10. He's got so many skeletons in his closet. He has so many children that he's paying nobody even knows how many children that he have. We don't know where his wife is. Just like William, he was forced to marry an English rose. Well, he was forced to marry someone who had blonde hair and blue eyes, someone who, um, as they say, had the right look, who looked like a royal princess, someone who tried to run from the pending nuptials in tears. That was the way things started off. So even though I'm making light of the situation by pointing out that he's going to get that wascally wabbit. Anyway, that's all, folks. A bitty 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 bitty. That's all, folks. Oh boy. I know I'm acting like it's Friday, right? I'm acting so much. I told you yesterday my energy was very low, and I felt really bad about that because I kind of struggled through the podcast yesterday. And to show you how low my energy was, I actually went on for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And anyway, I was hoping to make up for my underperformance yesterday, which is, you guys, even when I feel like my worst, you guys say, "Oh, that was a great podcast." And I'm like, "Really? Really?" I thought I was going to nod off and go to sleep, but okay. All right. So enough of that wascally wabbit. And okay. So at the time of the podcast, there were jokes aplenty. If you remember, Daniel, Daniel. Um, this guy, Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya appeared on Saturday Night Live, and he said basically, "I'm what the royal family was worried the baby would look like," right? And so I decided to use my mad skills as a um, editor of photos, and I created this image of the Queen having a Zoom conversation with Archie. Yeah, you see that? There's the Queen having a conversation with Archie. Okay, so oh look, Philip, it's Archie. It's Archie. Philip, there's Archie. Philip. Okay. Not so much, huh? Yes, Archie got a deep tan. um, that is a mystery, isn't it? So, okay, that the interview captured everybody's imagination, but we all know that. Even the Squatty's family and moderators, and all in the house. Sorry, I'm late. Baron, Lydia, Cookies and Cream, Connie, Patricia, Rosa, Church Nelly, Audrey Teschner. It is absolutely okay. We're just glad you're here. Vinny Blair says Angela Latrine is having a go at Katie. I think Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, should stick to being herself. She doesn't need to try to be someone else, including Diana. She's great as she is. Well, why don't you, Vinny Blair? We should let Angela say it for herself because it's one thing to read about it, but when you hear it directly from the troll's mouth, I think Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, she should stick with being herself. She doesn't need to try to be someone else, including Diana. She's great as she is. Okay, she was doing good till she lied at the end. At the end, that's when she's great as she is. Um, she's okay, but great is a real stretch, Angela Latrine. So, okay, next one. The Crown. In tandem with everything else going on, we had The Crown as a backdrop of the royal saga, right? But I say that no matter how you slice it, the big lie is truly based on the need to cover up a greater scandal, something that will forever rock the House of Windsor. Yeah, that is the scandal right there. The Sussexes are being used as a scapegoat. And there are several articles that imply the same thing. It- the Sussexes are the scapegoats. And the true story is between those three people right there. That's the real story. And so, in order to help cover up, it is alleged that not only were the calls coming from inside the house, but it's also been alleged that the Mormon Tabernacle Choir were, um, you know, selected to make things favorable for the Cambridges. I mean, in the back, you got Jason. Somewhere along there, I believe, is Samantha the Panther. Where is she at? There's that Royal Protection Officer. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I don't think Samantha is in this photo, is she? I don't think she is. And there's the nanny back there. The nanny is standing in front of the chauffeur. The only person of color in this photo of note is the chauffeur. That was someone that they yelled, where's the driver? They don't even know his name. They just call him the driver. Where's the driver? Where's the chauffeur? And so they went and got him. They said, oh, just leave it. and so he dropped the cloth that he was polishing the Range Rover with, and he ran in there. He snapped a photo. As you can see, he's near the exit because they really don't intend him to stay long. And as for the nanny, well, she's only there under the same circumstances, just as a filler. And then after that, those two were dismissed, and the other ones went right back to their usual conspiring. So, allegedly, yeah, that's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. No offense to the Mormon community, but as you know, I'm making light of the fact that there are very few, if any, people of color in that group of people in the staff at Kensington Palace. Okay, so where were we? Let me get rid of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Jealousy. Meghan Markle is the British royal family scapegoat. I forget which publication that was, but if you notice the date, it says July 9th, 2019. July 9th, 2019. Let me see. They were married in 2018, so that's what? 12, 13 months since the marriage. And already people were writing articles about how the Duchess of Sussex is being used as a scapegoat. Yeah. I saw, I'd saved this receipt, but I didn't actually, I don't recall which magazine or article, the newspaper it comes from, but there you have it. They were already writing about the scapegoat. Meghan has been accused of using the racehorses card. She didn't need to because the whole world saw the racehorsism from the media and the royal family. Yeah, Roseanne Campbell, everybody's watching, but not everybody's actually listening. That's the problem. People are watching, but people are not acting on it, right? So finally, we've gotten there where because of an article, gosh, who was the one who wrote that article? I just took him off of here. I had him here. The one that ended the year badly for William. You guys know who I'm talking about? He wrote that article about William and about the whole cheating scandal. But anyway, was it Robert Palmer? Is that right? Something. Oh, nope. Oh, help me out, you guys. Help me out. Who was it? It was Dick somebody. It was Dick somebody. Anyway, the one, Richard Eden. That's right. Richard Eden was one of the people who accused William of, certain things some time ago. And then when he decided to go after the Duchess of Sussex at the end of the year, everybody piled on him like flies on Angela Levin. You know what I'm trying to say. But everybody piled on him like flies on Angela Levin. And that made life miserable for William because finally that story had become mainstream. The story became mainstream because of Richard Eden. If Richard Eden hadn't opened up his big mouth, we would not even talk about it. But because he did, people reminded everyone that that happened. So, courtesy of Richard Eden and his big mouth. Other than that, it would not be a talking point. Let me see. I queued up a couple of things. That was it. I genuinely worry that Prince Harry and Meghan's criticism of unnamed royals has increased the danger of attacks on the royal family. Security needs to be stepped up as a result. He tweeted that, right? And so when he tweeted that, that was when the Sussex squad made okay, there it is. That was when the Sussex squad made this go mainstream. Once he tweeted that, the Sussex squad said, okay, the knives are out. The knives are out. And the Sussex squad went to Twitter warfare battle against someone who they felt had slighted the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Remember how the year ended? It was because of Richard Eden, and this tweet caused a lot of embarrassment for Prince William. And finally, the story became mainstream. What was, I guess, restricted to gossip magazines were being spoken about clearly on network television for the first time. So thank you, Richard Eden, with your big mouth. If you got anything else that you want to say, please go ahead and do it now so we can calibrate our reply. Yep. I love when it all comes together. Cain lived through the heartbreak of his father's infidelity and then perpetuated same thing on his kids and tried, that is allegedly perpetuated the same thing on his kids and tried to use his brother to cover it up. How does he live with himself? Well, Vinny Blair, um, if you know William like I do, if you know William like I do, he just keep on keeping on. But yeah, he just keeps on keeping on. Oh my goodness! Thank you for the super sticker, Dorothy Ross. Thank you for the look at me, Rose. Thank you for the super sticker, Dorothy Ross. I got Rose on my mind, but I'm not the only person that's got Rose on my mind. There are others, like for instance, I don't know, the Duchess of Cambridge, and of course, the Duke of Cambridge. Everybody's got Rose on their minds. But yes, thank you, Dorothy Ross. Okay, you guys, this little revisionist history is because we have to keep receipts and we have to remember. So the next few days, like I said, there's going to be a conversation again about the Oprah Winfrey interview because it's the anniversary, and it was the most searched interview in Google history. Dan Wooten. Let's not forget Dan Wooten's role. Dan Wooten has Meghan got CNN woke news network quietly tries to conceal its one piece of critical reporting of the Sussexes and won't say why. Well, apparently, the Duchess of Sussex, it is alleged, wrote a letter to CNN, just like the Duchess of Sussex wrote a letter to Good Morning Britain in reference to certain unfairness. Now, when the Duchess of Sussex was a member of the royal family, she had no voice. She could not speak out. She could not remind people or even correct the record. Her friends tried to do it with very little success. But as a result of the Sussexes stepping back from royal duty, the Duchess of Sussex was able, via her lawyers and such, she was able to write letters and also have her lawyers get in the discussion about alleged bullying, also to set the record straight. She also pointed out inconsistencies in the coverage. And thanks to the Sussex squad, and I'm going to say this was purely the Sussex squad, a lot of those so-called royal experts that were appearing on American television are fewer and far in between, especially those that are hypercritical of the Duchess of Sussex on one side of the Atlantic, and then all of a sudden they tone it down on this side of the Atlantic. So we have made an impact. You have made an impact. What we're doing right now is going to make even more impacts, because when you call out these dastardly deeds, when you call them out, when you call out the royal rodents, people can only ignore us for so long before um, they realize that it's not just a matter of good faith, it's not a matter of ethics, but it's a matter of money. You have to let them know that as consumers, we are not pleased with the lies. We're not pleased with the inconsistencies. It'd be one thing if it was fair, but it's not fair. The odds were stacked up against the Sussexes because of the weight of the institution, and we're not there yet. We are totally not there yet, but we're winning, and that's what's important: is that the Sussexes are winning. Rosalind Gatewood, I called the Richard Eden the other day. He was saying Sussex's followers are crazy. We expect the Ukrainian president to acknowledge the Sussexes right away. Um, Again, Richard Eden, he causes more problems than he could ever fix for the royal family. And because of Richard Eden, we've had certain conversations that made the end of the year a complete disaster for the royal family, and in particular for William the Terrible. So I say let Richard Eden keep talking because he's not helping the situation. He's only hurting the situation. I think he speaks way faster than he could actually think. And he has a bad case of foot and mouth disease. So, because of that implied relationship between Wooten Tootin' Dan Wooten and Kensington Palace, which I cannot confirm or deny or substantiate, I don't know. I only know that he said that the calls are coming from inside the house. You can look at the poster right there. What inspired that? What inspired that poster was Dan Wooten himself. Dan Wooten, when he said, Dan Wooten launches a tirade against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's so much easier for them to blame anything uncomfortable on the racism. I said it, racehorses, racehorses, rather than address the fact the negativity toward them is coming from within the royal family. It's coming from within the royal family. The calls are coming from inside the house. Now that is Dan Wooten. Dan Wooten said that. Dan Wooten, just like everybody else that report on the royal family, his mouth got ahead of him. He's so full of himself. His mouth got ahead of him. He put the cart in front of the horse. He pointed out clearly that it's much easier for them to blame anything uncomfortable on racehorses rather than address the fact that the negativity toward them is coming from within the royal family. So, from within the royal family can only mean one thing, and that, of course, is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. That is where the strength of his connection lies, because Dan Wooten has actually gone to school with, you guys already know, who did he go to school with? Dun, dun, dun. He's gone to school with Jason Knopf. They are old class chums. So when we say the calls are coming from inside the house, well, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I mean, you don't have to be Dr. Joyce Jazz Hands to know what is implied by, I mean, obviously, being one of the great critical thinkers of our time, someone who is destined to be a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, she could even figure that out. Whether she would ever say it publicly is one thing, but Dr. Joyce Jazz Hands, well, it might take her 1 or 2 centuries to put it together, but eventually she get there. um, People don't know. even when it hits them in the face. Yeah. Okay. Just saw a clip on Brian IG page. Meghan's UN speech is used to highlight Women's History Month, as well it should. Meghan's UN speech was a monumental moment for the Duchess of Sussex's evolution. At the time, of course, she wasn't married to Prince Harry, but it is said that the Duchess of Sussex has often told people, I never wanted to be one of those ladies who lunches. She wanted to be out there in the field working with people, helping people to better themselves and their circumstances. Okay, so back over here, I was done with those, and let's get to Jason Knopf. So Jason Knopf has worn many hats in his career, and somehow, just like Samantha the Panther, Jason Knopf has found his way into the royal family. He works for and answers to William the Terrible. Now, it was said that he was leaving that position, but he's not leaving William's service. I don't even know if he ever actually left that position, but they said by the end of last year that that was supposed to happen. I will believe it when I see it, because if you look right there behind William, who's behind the rose, you can see there's Jason Knopf without his glasses, just behind William's head. Now you have to do some looking because William's head is that huge patch of flesh in the center of the photo. See that big patch of flesh there? You see something that looks like a dry, arid, very dry, arid desert with just a few cacti. That is William behind the rose, behind the dry, arid desert with just a few cacti. That is Jason Knopf. Okay, so Jason seems to be in the thick of it. William, private message handed over with William's, I'm sorry, Meghan's private message handed over with William's approval. Palace veteran. Well, when that message was handed over, it's because when it looked like the Lord Nappyhead's newspaper was losing, somehow somebody recalled a conversation from, oh, I forgot when the conversation took place. But anyway, someone, Jason Knopf, recalled a conversation that took place with a staff person who expressed to him this um, bullying claim, right? And that the Duchess of Sussex had bullied someone on the staff, and that he was so upset about it that he quickly ran. Now, he didn't go to Harry, he quickly ran to William. Just so you guys know, let's make this very clear. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. At the Kensington Palace, in spite of all the royals that are living in the Royal Council housing or the housing projects for minor royals, out of all the people that live at Kensington Palace, the highest ranking member of the family, and by default is the highest ranking anybody at Kensington Palace, is Prince William. Okay? Don't get it confused. Prince William is the it guy because he's um, just below Charles, right, in the pecking order of things. So anything that goes on at the Kensington Palace, whether you work for or directly with the Sussexes, or whether you work for or directly with the Cambridges, it did not matter. You had to report to this guy. If he asks you a question, you are obliged to leak information, or I'm sorry, convey information to him, and then he would leak it to anybody he chooses. You know, we had a 45th president who could decide what was classified information. And therefore, when he would have a conversation with anybody, if he brings up a topic it is at that point declassified. Anything classified would become declassified. So in William's case, unlike a president of the United States, he won't take responsibility for declassifying information, but there certainly is no repercussions if he should decide to do so. So William allegedly, on occasion, leaked information to the old college buddy of Jason Knopf, is what has been alleged. So we don't have any direct proof of that, but as you know, Dan Wooten Tootin is more than happy to let you know that the information that he shared and any other royal reporter, royal correspondent, that information um, against the Sussexes came from inside the house. It's implied, but nobody directly says it. This is about as close as that you can get to a confession is right here. That's as close as it gets. Address the fact that negativity toward them is coming from within the royal family, essentially from inside the house. Okay, so that is the way I see it. I'm sharing it with you the way I understood it. And so there are some of the other potential co conspirators, but we can't confirm that. It can only be alleged, like the female royal protection officer, the personal assistant, senior communications secretary. And there's one person who I obscured from this photo because I'm almost certain she had nothing to do with it. Now, any of those people, aside from Jason, any of those people may very well have been put in a very tough position. I'm going to even say, for the sake of argument, that Jason may have been placed in a very tough position. But however they got there, the information was leaked about all types of activities concerning the Sussexes. And then when that failed, then to make sure that the damage was done just in time for the Oprah interview, that was when they alleged that there was some type of bullying claim, just in time for the Oprah Winfrey interview. It wouldn't have been a thing if they weren't sitting down with Oprah, but it became a thing because of the Oprah Winfrey interview. And then since that time, it is such a big deal, nothing has come of it, especially when the Duchess of Sussex said, I need you to talk to my lawyer. I want you to share the names with my attorneys. And you know what we got from that? Crickets. From that, we got crickets. So let me go to some of your comments because I have been away for too long. As a snake started the bad feelings between William and Harry, he started the bullying lie. Allegedly. We have to throw allegedly in there. At least I do. You don't have to. Apparently, Jason Knopf left his role at the end of last year and is now lives in India with his husband. Okay, okay. I know he was supposed to leave, but it was unceremonial. But then maybe, just maybe, that's why they had the big send off at the COP or GP, CP 25. Maybe that's why that happened. So it's a possibility. Um, I mean, the damage is done. There's really no need for him to stay. And then there's Samantha the Panther. If that ain't the shadiest looking broad I've ever seen in my life, shady. Shady is when everybody else is laughing and smiling, and then you see what she's doing, right? Look at her back there. Look at her. Oh, our Duchess, our Duchess. What in God's name have you been through? What have you been through? I shudder to think about it. What has the Duchess of Sussex been through? Look at her back there. Now, I don't know much about her. She's a bit of an enigma. It's very difficult to try to figure her out. But she was an assistant to the Queen. The Queen liked her so much, she even honored her with some kind of order or whatever. That's how close she was to the Queen. And when they went on the train trip, she was there. So I wish I could say definitively exactly how she fits into this, but I really can't. I'd be lying if I'd said otherwise, but it's just a hunch, it's just a feeling. And from her position of possibly undermining the Duchess of Sussex, possibly, um, she was called upon to go work at number 10. See there? Boris eyes Samantha the Panther to the top team. PM hopes to hire the Queen's ex-private secretary, who worked for Meghan Markle at the time of the bullying claims, to be Downing Street gatekeeper. Yeah, she looks like she could fit the role, the gatekeeper. If that doesn't remind me of O'Brien from Downton Abbey, she reminds me of O'Brien. Like, if anybody would put a bar of soap at the top of the staircase, you know how Naomi Campbell has her magic telephone? I think, I was about to call her O'Brien. I think Samantha the Panther has a magic bar of soap so that anybody who's near the top of a staircase, anyway, you know what I'm implying. Um, Don't forget, Jason Knopf also hired his friend Melissa to work to manage Megan's wedding, who was a nanny he knew, but went along to allegedly sabotage the wedding plans. Melissa, is she on the list there? Where is? Oh, Melissa, there she is, right there in the middle, right there in the middle. Yeah, there's Melissa right there in the middle. I believe that's to whom you speak. That is Melissa. For your consideration, ladies and gentlemen, right there in the middle is Melissa. Ah, what has the Duchess of Sussex been through? One shudders to think. Yeah, it was like this was like the worst conspiracy I've ever seen since Abraham Lincoln was taken out. I mean, of course, I'm exaggerating, but they have so much in common with the Lincoln conspiracy. So much in common. Okay, sorry, you guys. I just had to have a sip of tea. But let's talk about bullying, shall we? Let's talk about bullying. Revealed, 5 women quit the royal household as Queen's Platinum Jubilee, age 60, is hit by bullying claims and accused of making staff cry. And then let's look over here. Highgrove secretary claims racehorses abuse by Prince Charles staff. Um, in case you haven't figured out, she is biracial, and she was called the N word, or at least she alleged that she was called the N word by one of Prince Charles's staff people. He told her, "You're just the N word secretary. What do you know?" She was said to have been, how do I put it? She was never really felt as though she was part of the team. She was somehow, oh, sorry about that. She was somehow pushed to the periphery of all activities. And eventually she quit and she tried to sue. She tried to sue, but as you know, it's very difficult to get your day in court with the royal family. So I don't think the lawsuit went anywhere. The stuff about whether the queen should enter the car first before Meghan, the lady was supposed to be I mean, was supposed to guide Meghan, but she did not do it. Why? I think of it. Well, of course, again, not only that, let's not even limit that to Meghan getting into the car. But remember this? Meghan didn't wear a hat that day. And so it was said that the Queen told them that she would wear a hat. And either Meghan was not told or they probably mentioned it. I'm just going to say they probably mentioned it. And then, of course, told her, but you don't really have to. That's probably what happened. I'm reasonably certain that if it was required to wear a hat that day, that Meghan would have worn a hat. I mean, she wore many hats, literally wore many hats, those Philip Tracy hats and such, while she was with the royal family. So why in the world would Meghan not wear a hat on an occasion like this out with the Queen unless someone decided it was better to mislead the Duchess of Sussex? Someone who decided to withhold information so that the Duchess of Sussex would be embarrassed. Maybe that someone was on the um, Oceania tour when there was a label left on the dress. Maybe another someone who worked as a royal protection officer was in the situation where, not even maybe, she was there. The female royal protection officer who was supposed to protect Meghan at the marketplace. Instead, she found herself surrounded by a huge crowd of people in an unventilated, confined space while she was with child, while she was pregnant. And in spite of all of the safeguards used by the royal family, of course, they used that occasion to embarrass the Duchess of Sussex. So it is just one thing after the other that we can list that the Duchess of Sussex was either ill informed, they withheld the information, made up things. I can't help but think that somehow there was a conspiracy to embarrass the Duchess of Sussex whenever possible. That's just my gut feeling about it. How much proof do I have? There's some evidence, and then there's just my gut feeling about it. The Queen always wears a hat. Samantha didn't wear a hat. Oh, Robin Rogers' keen eye. Meghan wore green to Louis' christening, and everyone else wore cream. Robin Rogers, what a keen eye you have. Absolutely. Samantha the Panther didn't wear a hat either, and nothing was said about it. Oh, see, we're getting somewhere today. This is why the squad is so important. Are we not getting somewhere today? Thank you for that. Was surrounded by a huge group of black people and overreacted. Yeah, yeah, that is also a possibility. Um, the whole thing about the marketplace was very unclear. I know that the security officer appeared to be quite agitated when they made the exit. The Duchess of Sussex was still smiling, although it was probably very hot that day. And so yeah, it's hard to say. I won't even go on a limb and say I know exactly what happened because I have no clue. But I know that everything that you could possibly say to make it appear as though the Duchess of Sussex had done something wrong, all of that was considered. And of course, the um, I guess narrative from the event was that the Duchess of Sussex didn't understand or she overreacted. You know, it was anything to embarrass our Duchess. That is what I got from the situation. Next, next. Okay, let's go to this one. I think we're doing good for time. I'm almost done, I think. Nope, I still got a bit of a ways to go. That is, yeah, we still got a ways to go, but that's cool. We must all call it out when the royal rota reminds us They are in the propaganda business of tearing down the Sussexes and protecting, elevating the other royals, especially William and Kate. Um, that was just a little something that I snatched off of social media. And there you can see, as a result of the Oprah interview, who is the racehorse. And then there on the right side, you can see Meghan made Kate cry. Meghan made Kate cry. That was like one of the big moments of this vast anti Sussex conspiracy, was that Meghan made Kate cry. Now, somehow at the center of that was someone who still cannot explain how the story evolved. And we all know who that is. That, of course, is the longest face this side of Easter Island. The longest face this side of Easter Island. She's the one who really needs to explain that one. Yep, Camilla Tominey. She said that she actually, what did she say? She seemed to have trouble articulating why she believed that story to be true. She seems to have trouble articulating the exact reason why it just had to be true. But I'm sure it was something to do with a insider or high-ranking official or some leak that came from inside the house. But yeah. Okay. So before I go too far, comments. Okay, the guy said the N word is allegedly one of the ones sacked over Prince Charles's charity scandal. Cash for honors, right? Alleged that when Meghan joined the British royal family, the same guy was asked to show Meghan the ropes, and Harry said no. God's child? Yes, I remember that. Harry did not want him near his wife. Harry did not want that guy near his wife. I recall that. Thank you. Yes, Harry was adamant about it. Do not. Do not. Yeah, because he was supposed to do the wedding plans, right? Initially, he was the one. I'm telling you, we are covering so much ground today. Squatties, you are on fire. You guys are on fire. He initially was the one who was supposed to take care of the wedding plans. And Harry said, no, you are not going to get involved with our wedding. Thank you for reminding us. Let me see if I can cue up his photo again. Yep, you are not to come near my family. His name is Michael Forsyth. That's his name, Michael Forsyth. I believe that is his name, Michael Forsyth. And Michael Forsyth has been working with Prince Charles since he was 19 years old. He has absolutely no education to qualify him to work for Prince Charles in such a close manner, but he does. But there on the right side, you can see a very young, virile, and even somewhat attractive Michael Forsyth. And then on the right side, having been an employee of the royal family for years, for 100 years, having worked at the royal family, as Starkey would say, Starkey, that is, David Starkey would say, for 100 years, he has become very well fed and very, very powerful. I mean, not just well fed, he's huge. Anyway, he's the one that caused so much embarrassment to Prince Charles. And initially, he was supposed to take care of the arrangements for the wedding. But Harry put his foot down. Absolutely not. This is the same Harry who realized that the cash for honors recipient guy, he was pretty shady, and Harry refused any future connections with I don't even know the guy's name, but the one who received the honor in secret, away from the cameras. Harry didn't want to have anything to do with him. So Harry is pretty sharp. As much as they try to lead people to believe that Harry is being led around by his nose and being held hostage by the Duchess of Sussex. Um, if you ask me, out of all the blood-born royals, Harry is the smart one. Harry is. The other ones, not so much. But Harry, he understands what's going on and he adjusts his position in the family so that he can get away from it. But yes, thank you for reminding us. Okay, more comments? Yeah, thank you, Godchild. That was impressive detective work. Okay. And Audrey Teschner says, it was must watch Harry and Meghan work behind the scene alone with no leaks. That's that's okay. That's what the what gets shocked every time Harry and Meghan make an appearance. Okay, all right. Anna Espinoza, you say we know it was the other way around that B was jealous because H married M, and there was going to be no more attention to Kate. Okay, all right. So let's go to the next one. Okay, we so Meghan made Kate cry. Meghan made Kate cry was what that was said, was that Meghan made Kate cry. But then eventually it turns out that oh, matter of fact, let's see, one, two. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get to it. But before we get any further, let's continue to speak about bullying, shall we? So it's been a year since the royal family alleged that Meghan bullied staff. It's been a year. And Meghan told Oprah, just to refresh our tea, they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband, right? So here's another truth for you. Truth bomb coming in. Truth bomb, take cover. Finger clicking Carol. Carol Middleton, Kate Middleton's mother, well, mom, Carol, bombards staff with 71 emails a day and docks their pay for going to the dentist. Disgruntled former Party Pieces employee claimed Miss Middleton would shun those who disagreed with her. Well, as you know, the Middleton's family fortune was made when an air hostess met a man that she married and they started a family. And as a side business, the air hostess, a bit of a genius, the air hostess decided to start a party favors business where they will create entire, um, I suppose, party pieces, place settings, um, cards, balloons, whatever you need for the party. Go to Ma Middleton. Ma Middleton will hook you up. And Ma Middleton made a fortune. She and her husband. There's a husband picture right there. Ma Middleton made a fortune. She's like the Kris Kardashian of Buckleberry or Huckleberry, wherever they come from. She's like the Kim Kardashian's mama, Kris Kardashian. I would love to see like mud wrestling between those two, the air hostess versus the air hostess. They should call the match the air hostess with the mostest, right? Oh, happy birthday, Vaughn. So they got very rich. And then the other photo right here, this young lady claims that she was overworked by the air hostess's daughter. Yes, mediocre Kate Middleton. Actually, I won't say that she was bullied, but what happened was while working for the Cambridges, let's see, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge top housekeeper suddenly quits as job became too demanding, according to a UK report Sadie Rice, 35, packed in her 35,000 pound or $60,000 a year job at the time when asked to move with them to Norfolk, the Amber Hall, from Amber Hall to Kensington Palace, reports the Sun. A source at the Queen's nearby Sandringham estate said Sadie's hard worker, and but the job demands got too much even for her. They wanted her to spend more time at Kensington Palace, and her work was increasing, that is, all the time. She wasn't having a normal life outside of work. Sadie's serving her notice, and it seems nothing will change her mind. It's their loss. So she worked for Duchess Doolittle and for William the Terrible. And because she was already working at one of the houses, I don't know if they were trying to cut costs or if they just trusted her so much, but they decided that rather than hire someone else, you just come on over to the other house with us and you can work there too. Happy day. And she said no. Now, you don't just quit the royal family. If anything can bolster your resume, it's working for the royal family. Everybody wants that, right? Wrong. Because Sadie Rice was like, bye bye, bye bye, bye, jazz hands, bye bye. Yep, I got tired of your hands in my face all the time anyway, so bye bye. All of that jazz handing and manipulation and hypnotism, I'm out of here, girl. Girl, bye. So she left. Bye bye. Oh, Kris Jenner. Thank you for that. It's not Kris Kardashian anymore. It's Kris Jenner. Thank you for that. All right. So moving right along, I decided to put a collage together because we always see the Duchess of Cambridge smiling and grinning and grinning and grinning, that big hyena grin and grinning some more and all that kind of stuff. But I decided to show the other side of the Duchess of Cambridge, the side that is rarely seen, the side that only comes out when she thinks the cameras aren't looking. I mean, it's enough to turn you into a pillar of salt. It's enough to freeze water. But that is what lies beneath, as they say. Like that old horror movie, What Lies Beneath. Well, that's what lies beneath. Beneath that veneer of happy go lucky, mountain climbing, wood chopping, bike riding, tennis playing, rugby throwing, beneath all of that, this is the actual Duchess of Cambridge. Yep, very much um, on the brink of collapse. So again, this is 1 year since the bullying claims anniversary were made, claims that were compiled so that they could protect and uplift the Cambridges. And that's it. I am done with my slides, I believe. Oh, that wasn't bad. 1 hour, 49 minutes. Let me double check the other slides that I have just to be sure. And yes, done, done, done. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Any comments? Any thoughts? So I'm going to leave that there because it took us a while to get here, but now everybody knows about the alleged affair, and everybody knows that the Sussexes, in particular, our Duchess, was used as a scapegoat. So, for that reason, I'm going to just leave that there for us to think about for a while as I check your comments. The side of Kate that shows evilness whenever she walks into a church. I'm melting. I'm melting. I'm melting. Meghan's wedding, Archie's christening, and Commonwealth service. The mean girl came out. Tash Mac, I couldn't have put it better myself. I think that's absolutely awesome. Black Cougar, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I realized it had been a year since the bullying claims came out. And one of the reasons why we have to revise and renew our commitment to the Sussexes on these occasions is because we don't want the perpetrators to think we've forgotten. We want them to know that we have kept receipts. And barring some type of outside intervention, I'm going to hang on to my receipts. And I know some of you guys have receipts. So we just have to make sure we remind them. Yeah, it does kind of temper otherwise happy occasion when you know that something is going on and there's nothing you could do about it. And yeah, well, that's the way it goes. I mean, somebody has made your bed for you and now you have to lie in it. Someone has coerced you into being something that you're not so that you can fulfill her destiny. And now she's stuck. Now she's stuck with someone who doesn't seem to notice her. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. Okay, more comments. Let me see. Baron, when I think of the way our Duchess Meghan was treated, it really sickens me. Me too, Sonia Johnson. It makes me sick. Do you hear me? Sick! It makes me sick. Absolutely sick. Put the bullying off on other royals like him, and it puts it on Meghan for PR. Yep. Let me see. Write a book with all receipts that has been collected about how Meghan was mistreated by the institution. Well, Mandy, I don't have to write a book because someone may already be in the process of doing that. Now, I'm not going to expect so much of that from Harry's book, but do expect a lot of what you just said whenever, if and when the Duchess of Sussex decides to write a book. Because Harry has a book coming this year, but the Duchess of Sussex, she's going to be busy with The Pearl, or Pearl as the working title is called, the animated series about a girl with freckles who travels the world and meet very famous people, very much like the Duchess of Sussex. Well, she hasn't wrote her story yet, but when she does, it is going to be incredible. Worst mean girl look was at Westminster. The last royal engagement of the Sussexes, that dirty look by Kate. Oh, I know the one that you're talking about. I know the one. That was when they were in Westminster Abbey, and the Cambridges seemed to oh, they were really putting off the worst possible vibe that anybody could put off. As though, yeah, I don't even want to speculate as to what they were thinking at that moment. But as you guys remember, Kate wore that god awful green garish outfit a week before Meghan came back to the UK and slammed them with fashions for, oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, was it? And by the time they got to that church service, I think that Catherine the Great was just completely outdone and very flustered and just couldn't wait for Meghan to leave. So, and as for William, William had his usual smug demeanor that that he always has. You know, he's not exactly a warm and fuzzy person. So, um, you know, William was just being himself. To your point, I believe I have found that image of them in church. So let me cue that up for you for the sake of conversation. Uh, Didn't I find it? Let me try that one more time. Huh. Oh, got it. Got it, got it, got it. There we go. As per conversation, there you have it. There is the photo. There is the photo of them in church. And you got Harry, whose blood was probably boiling at that point. Meghan, who always looks pleasant and serene. And then, of course, there's Kate, who's trying to figure out what the adults are talking about. And then, of course, there is William, seething with hostility, incandescent with rage. So, yes, that was the weekend that I'll never forget. And so, as we are having a conversation right now, let me refresh your tea about something else. Okay, the wedding day. The wedding day. As you know, on Meghan's wedding day, she wore white. And as evident by this photo, she wasn't the only one wearing white. Now, one of the trolls tried to say, oh, it was actually a very pale yellow. So, even for the sake of argument, let's say that she was wearing a very pale yellow. Being in a very prominent position in a royal wedding, was that in any way the smart thing to do? Especially when you consider the fact that a woman who earned billions of dollars in her lifetime, Oprah Winfrey, actually had a last minute change in her clothing before the wedding. She changed her dress because she thought that her outfit might clash with that of the bride. She said, no, it's just too close to white. I won't wear it. But someone who is supposed to have been well bred at the very top of the aristocracy, someone whose air hostess mother has conditioned her for years to fit in and to be gracious and to be very much a lady, decided that she would wear white on another woman's wedding day. That was no accident. That was quite deliberate because it didn't take long after this that when Eugenie was married, she wore almost the same color as the Commonwealth Day. She wore something that was nearly identical to the Commonwealth Day. So when um, it was one of the York girls' wedding, she decided she would wear this color. But when it was Meghan's wedding, why don't I wear that color? This or that? She chose this color. Not the exact same outfit, but very, very close. That was by design, not a mistake. That was by design. I will wear white to her wedding so that I could stick out like a sore Middleton. When you think about Diana's wedding with Camilla wearing white. Yes, Tashmak, exactly. BJ, the entire royal family lowered their heads or looked the other way when Meghan came up the aisle. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Let me see. They also asked Meghan to dress down so she won't upstage Kate, even her wedding dress. Well, Leslie Ann Hector, that may very well have been true, but because we all know that Meghan has a particular taste and that Meghan in the past cited Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's simple, clean lines. Carolyn wore a very simple wedding dress. Everybody understood that Meghan was going to wear something that was very clean and consistent and not anything overly elaborate. So, um, that may have been mentioned to her. I don't know, but I do know that it wasn't likely that Meghan was going to wear something so over the top. Meghan always has an eye for the future, and so she wore something very contemporary, There are numerous images of royal brides across Europe wearing very similar gowns like the one that Meghan is wearing there. So I believe that Meghan would have gone with something simple, clean, and tasteful, with or without guidance from the royal family. Okay, she's the same woman who wore red to a child's christening and Diana's earrings. Yes, the offenses never cease, do they? It's just one offense after the other. And look at there. By this point, they figured, well, we got those Sussexes on the rope. We got them on the ropes. It's almost done. They're going to leave and they will never darken our doorstep again. Success. That is the feeling that I get from the Commonwealth Day, is that they successfully rid themselves of the Sussexes, thinking that the Sussexes were going to go to America and become complete failures. But as we know, the exact opposite happened. The Sussexes did not become a failure or failures. They actually are not only winning, they are they're conquering. They are literally conquering. So the mean girl is probably incredibly disappointed right now. I have always thought that the hat fascinator was a pale yellow that cannot wear, but the suit cannot wear was a white or cream color. Yeah, Doris Johnson, yellow, cream, at that position, walking up the steps with the children on the wedding day. Any of those things, any of the above mentioned, was a terrible fashion faux pas for some other person's wedding day, and especially the Duchess of Sussex, who, as a foreign born woman of color, should have had an exceptional welcome to a family that has been known throughout the ages for 1,000 years as being somewhat racehorses. That's just too close. Absolutely too close. You don't even want to come that close. So yeah, I see the yellow hat, but I don't care. That's too close. Okay. She cosplayed Meghan to just annoy her, to think she can do it better than her, but quite uh, uh, pull it off without fierce scrutiny from the favorite public. Well, you know we're gonna call her out. That's what we're doing right now. We are going to call her out when that happens. And what's really sad is that she either doesn't know or she doesn't care. Either way, we're still going to call her out when that happens. Okay, so I think that we are just about at that point. Kate wore that dress because she was jealous that Meghan got Harry and she secretly wanted him. That's why she put Harry's baby's clothes on her baby. I didn't know about that. Okay, Bright Eyes, PB and J. Let me see. And she put Louis in Harry's outfit for the first balcony appearance so Meghan couldn't use it. Wow, I didn't know about that. Well, you guys got all kind of receipts. I didn't know about that. Have you ever thought think that that's Kate? Well, thought thinks Kate could have loved Harry instead of William. Food for thought. I think she regrets marrying William. Regrets marrying William? Regrets marrying William? Does this look like the face of regret? Does this look like the face of regret? I ask you, does it? wait, wait a minute. I'm trying to be funny. Okay. Here goes my sarcasm. Does this look like the Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I see what you mean. Okay, maybe a bit of a remorse. Yeah, that's regret. You're right. That's regret. That's clearly regret. Mm-hmm. Regret. Yes. Regrets. I had a few, but too few to even mention. I'm seeing the regret. It has aged her. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Sorry. Sorry that I questioned you. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Right? I mean, okay. Okay. Like Duchess Meghan Markle said, she's got the best one. Yep, 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 yep. All right. Kate knew that Harry was the one with love. She could have had an affair with Harry if she could. Mm-hmm. Let me see. That's true, Anna. In every photo the three were together, Kate looks at Harry with burning lust. Okay. Joyce, that heifer doesn't regret marrying William. She wants to be queen consort. Unfortunately, if she doesn't make it, she has no backup plan. Joyce, I think I've just fallen in love with you. I don't know how we are going to make this relationship work, but I have just fallen in love. That is too funny. That heifer doesn't regret marrying. Not that heifer. That heifer doesn't marry. Doesn't regret. Oh boy, that's one thing about falling in love. You just don't know when it's going to happen. But I think I felt something just now. Um, they don't even have a name for it. But thank you for that, Joyce. Joyce, I'm going to assume that you are an African American because I've heard that language used before. I didn't have to veer too far from my home to hear it. Matter of fact, I think I heard it in my home. But oh boy. You know, sometimes it's just like somebody has pulled the pin on a grenade, threw it in the room, closed the door, covered their ears, and just waited for the fallout. The fallout is I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes. That's what happened just now. Anytime somebody starts it off with that heifer, you know it's gonna be good, right? I just know. As soon as I saw that heifer, I said, I'm destroyed. Sorry. End of it. As a matter of fact, I think we should let that be the last word of the day is that heifer. Oh, let me drink some water. I'm sorry. Oh, that was a gift right there. Thank you. I know. I know. Um, whew. Okay. Oh, oh, I'm telling you, absolutely. Anytime somebody starts off the sentence with that, you know it's going to be good. It's just like you have to lean into it. Don't run, lean in because it's going to be good. So if you walk away at that point, you're gonna miss something really good. So our lesson for today: when somebody starts it off with that heifer, stay and listen. Do not exit. Otherwise, you're gonna miss the good stuff. Woo! I gotta get something and fan my face. My face thing got hot. Whew. Let's all read it out loud, shall we? That heifer doesn't regret marrying William. She wants to be queen consort. Unfortunately, if she doesn't make it, she has no backup plan. Woo! Joyce, you have taken over Royal Sussex today. I have met a worthy opponent, and I am just going to say you win because ah, my nose is running. Hold on a second. Hold on, I'll be right. Okay. All right, you guys, let's pull this together, shall we? Let's give all of our love and affection to our faves, our two queens. Let me see. Let me do this here first. Okay. Okay, done that. All right. We are going to have to say farewell to we're gonna have to say farewell to that heifer. I can't talk. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's give love, thanks, and appreciation to our two queens, Diana, the Queen of Hearts, and of course the Queen of Everything, Doria. Doria, whose very calm demeanor has helped the Sussexes navigate this storm. Okay. Whew, I got the giggles now. All right. So with that, let's take a look at some more of your comments. You say, uh-huh. And then you said, okay. And you said, okay, and that sums it up. Oh, yes, that sums it up for everybody. So that will, of course, have to serve as our last word for today. You guys, it has been a pleasure. Thank you all for staying with me while we acknowledge, not celebrate, but at the very least, acknowledge the year that has happened since the Sussexes were on the Oprah Winfrey interview, which is actually, I believe, on the 7th of March. Excuse me. So we may see some more things popping up in the Twitter sphere and also perhaps even in the tabloids if they care to talk about it, which I'm sure they will. But that interview really it really helped the Sussexes a lot to tell their side of the story for the first time since all of the terrible things happened. So for that, we have to be very grateful to the Oprah Winfrey and of course her crew, CBS Television for giving the Sussexes a voice, and yeah, it was triggering. It was heartbreaking to see our Duchess crying. It also revealed the fact that instead of the narrative that they had only created that day, which was to follow days later with the Oprah Winfrey interview, we found out that it was actually the other way around, that Kate made our Duchess cry. The mean girl was the one responsible for. Actually, she did everything she could to try to sabotage the wedding, but it didn't work. The Sussexes are very happy right now. Philip accidentally did that by mistake, but I figured I'd throw a little Philip in there. But they're winning, so we don't have to worry. They have a voice. And okay, any last comments? Anybody? We're in the underbelly of the institution with every unsavory character with hot air blowing out as hubris and drive. Okay, okay. Let's see.